If you've been studying personal development for quite some time, you've read the books, you've attended the seminars, you've probably even paid for coaches, yet you're creating the same results, you're earning the same income, you have the same relationships, you're living in the same physical body, which is telling me that you haven't quite been able to close the gap between reading and memorizing of these principles and actually understanding and applying. So if that sounds like you, the idea that I'm going to share with you today on this call very well may be the most profitable idea that you hear today. But before, I know it's a little bit of a tease, but before I share that idea with you, I want to let you know that I can relate to you. I picked up my first personal development book in 2012. I spent the best part of 2.5 years. I was a walking, talking encyclopedia of this knowledge. I read hundreds of books, not figuratively, literally. I attended countless webinars, seminars, 1, 2, 3-day events. I hired coaches. I attended Tony Robbins events where I would chant and scream how much I believed in myself, but I wasn't quite able to close the gap between reading and memorizing and understanding and applying. Then, February 28th of 2015, I had the absolute honor to be mentored by the late, great Bob Proctor. And the things that I learned in that 1 year coaching helped me step out of reading and memorizing into actually understanding and applying these principles. And I know that I'm teasing it a little bit, but as what I want to do before I share with you the technique which has helped me literally earn millions of dollars, but more importantly has helped hundreds of my clients create time, financial and emotional freedom, I want to show you what you're doing in the reading and memorizing. See, the truth is most people who study personal development, right? They may listen to a recording, they may watch YouTube, or for this example, I'm going to say they read a book. We have the book that I'm currently reading right now, The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. As what most people do is they read the book, they memorize the book, they're even able to recite parts of the book. And then they might study for 20 minutes in the morning or half an hour. I know some people who even study for an hour. And then they put the book down and they think from their old conditioning and their old paradigm all day long. Now, if you're a little bit newer to this channel, my name's Justin Grimer and I'm a mindset coach. I've been in the coaching space for over 8 years and I was good friends and business partners with Bob Proctor for 6.5 of those 8 years. And I've been fortunate enough to coach over 2,000 clients, and I specialize in showing people how to actually understand and apply the principles of success. So if this is your first time watching me, please give the channel a follow and a like, a thumbs up. But as what I see most people doing is they read the book, they memorize the book, they can even recite parts of the book. And they put the book down and they think from their old paradigm all day long. Now, a paradigm is a multitude of habits stored in a section of our subconscious mind that has almost habitual control over our habitual behavior. And almost all of our behavior is habitual. So if a lot of people were honest with themselves and they sat back and they evaluated their thinking and they evaluated their behavior, they would notice that their habitual thinking and their habitual behavior isn't going to get them the life that they want to live. So the answer becomes, and you'll hear me say this thousands of times if you follow me for long enough, the answer becomes the ability to discipline your mind and create winning behaviors. And a silly example that I like to give, I quite like the example of what most people are doing when they're studying personal development, is I want you to imagine that someone wants to lose weight. They're 200 pounds and their ideal weight is 180 pounds. And they wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is they get dressed and they go to the gym and they do 1 hour of cardio. Then after the gym, they get ready for work, and on the way to work, they get McDonald's for breakfast. Then for lunch, they get pizza. Then after work, they remember their weight loss goals, so they go right back to the gym and they do another hour of cardio. And on the way back from the gym to home, they get lazy and let's say they have Burger King or Wendy's or whatever it is, right? Well, they weigh themselves at the end of the week and they haven't lost any weight. Maybe they've gained weight. And they sit back and they think to themselves, how is it that I've gained weight? Or how is it that I haven't lost any weight? I'm absolutely busting my ass. I did 14 hours of gym, 14 hours of cardio this week. Well, anyone who knows anything about fitness will know that losing weight or living a healthy lifestyle is just as much as what you do in between your workouts as if you actually work out. Well, the great secret is with personal development, what you do in between when you study is just as important as if you study. And I'm repeating myself for a third time here, but it's so important, as what I see a lot of people do, the equivalence of that person who's trying to lose weight is they read the book, they memorize the book, they can even recite parts of the book. And they put the book down and they think from their old conditioning all day long. And a technique that I have personally created to help you overcome that and actually move into the understanding and applying is what I call creating a theme for the day. So I'll literally share what my morning routine was this morning. I wake up, the first thing I do is I make myself a cup of coffee, I have a shower, and as I'm having my shower, I go through and I get involved with gratitude. The reason why I do this is I'm literally training my mind to focus on the good in my life, and I'm literally training my mind to see the good that I have. The reason why I do this is because on our goal achieving journey, we can spend a lot of time focusing on what we want and what we don't have. And the first thing that I want to do every single morning is I want to anchor my mind and be grateful for the blessings that I have in my life. And I can say, the universe has rewarded me abundantly. I have thousands of things to be grateful for, but I'm sure that you do as well. So my morning routine is wake up, make myself a cup of coffee, have a shower, and gratitude. The first thing that I do when I get into my office is my study. I do anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes of study a day. And right now I'm reading The Power of Awareness. And as I'm studying, I'll go through, and whenever an idea sticks out at me, it might be an idea, it might be a word, it might be a sentence, it might even be a paragraph. But you can probably, if you've been studying personal development for some time, you can probably relate to me where you're reading something and you get that little aha moment. Well, as what I do is I write that aha moment on a little sticky note. And today's aha moment from me, from the book The Power of Awareness by Neville, was the talent entrusted to me is the power to consciously determine my assumptions. And I thought that was really powerful because as what Neville is telling me is my power, the thing that I have 100% control over is my assumptions. And anyone who's been following Neville for any period of time will know that the core basis of his work is man's concept of himself, woman's concept of herself, my concept of myself. And he tells us that my assumptions, my concept of myself will ultimately determine the world in which I live. It'll determine the physical body that I live in, it'll determine my relationships, and it will determine the income that I earn. So I'll repeat it again. What stood out to me today is the talent entrusted to me is the power to consciously determine my assumptions. And as what I do is I have it on a little sticky note and I keep it here on my desk, and I will read that anywhere between 50 to 150 times a day. Now, what am I doing when I'm doing this? For a long time, it was 2.5 years, I read the book, I memorized the book, I could even recite parts of the book. I remember when I first started getting mentored by Bob in 2015, I would be attending his classes and he would be explaining the stick person, or he'd be explaining a paradigm, or he'd be telling a story, and I could literally talk along with him, right? I'd watched his material so much. I always say I was a walking, talking encyclopedia of this knowledge. However, I never truly understood how to apply it, because I was reading it, I was memorizing it, I was putting it down, and I was thinking from my paradigm all day long. Now, with my theme of the day, is what I'm able to do is, let's say I read for 20 to 25 minutes. What are the realistic chances that I'm going to memorize and really be able to apply all 20 to 25 minutes of what I read? No matter how great the material is, the chances are zero or next to zero. Well, with the theme of the day, as what I'm able to do is I'm able to take one idea, one concept, one word, and I'm able to discipline my mind and discipline my behaviors around that concept or word. So as what I want you to do is I want you to go away and try it. I want you to create your theme for the day, and I want you to make sure that you come back and comment down below how effective you found this life-changing exercise.